regardless of the fact of the outlay of cash, there has to be some paper trail. There has to be some kind of information that's given to the hunter so it can effectuate and track a wanted fugitive, whether it's here or abroad. It doesn't matter. There's got to be something.
So by telling this, what the prosecution said was a big tale about working for the FBI, didn't he open himself up for them to check with the FBI? I mean, what does the FBI tell you when you're working with them? If you're caught, we're going to disavow knowledge of you, or would they step up and say, oh yeah, he's working with us? In
foreign operations, it's mostly the fact that you don't exist. I mean, it depends. You're going to make there's a lot of specialty training that has to go into it, and a lot of preparedness, especially going to do a cross-border operation. So you have to, the most important thing is apprehending the fugitive and getting out. It's pretty much like a kidnap and ransom unless we have some kind of extradition treaty with that particular country.
Gotcha.
And if you're going to come back into the United States, you have to work out something with the U.S. Marshals, the Border Patrol, to let you know you're coming through airspace back into the United States. Like Brownsville is one of our favorite places for extracting a prisoner from Mexico.
See, this is the thing. When people get on the stand, especially, and lie, then they have to keep lying. Rocket, Rosen, jump in here. Could they have launched a better defense for this man? I mean, the tale was so outrageous. The money was found there. Part of the murder weapon was found there. They think it was the murder weapon because they never got the bullet back. But did this guy get a good defense, do you think?
Well, when you're facing the death penalty in a capital murder prosecution, I myself, who've handled numerous, I'd be very skeptical in putting my client on the witness stand when you're looking at the death penalty. Because again, I know in Texas when jurors are determining punishment, as we have here, not a judge, if you put a client on the witness stand and they're squarely looking into the juror's face and then outright lie, the jury's going to hold it against them. So being in Arizona compared to what happens in Texas, if I'm trying a case in Texas, it's very unlikely that I would put my client on the witness stand, because the district attorney's offices in Texas, they don't usually try somebody for capital murder unless they have solid evidence. All right, now you brought up the subject of capital murder. Mr. Garbus, let me delve into something I find most interesting here. This judge sentenced this man to death, and then all hell broke loose when the Supreme Court came down with a decision. Explain that to the folks.
Well, the Supreme Court held the juries have to decide whether or not someone can be sentenced to death after a conviction by a jury. And it's very funny, because if you do studies, that was a position urged by defense lawyers. They wanted to see juries do it rather than judges. But if you do studies, it seems that juries more often come in against defendants than do judges. It's just one of these funny wrinkles.
But the Supreme Court in June of 2002, so it's not too long ago, it hasn't really shaken out within the justice system yet, ruled that a defendant or a guilty person should be sentenced by a jury of their peers.
After conviction. In other words, as to what the terms of the sentence should be.
So that sounds like a pretty